Welcome to Living Vacationland. My name is Michael Maroney, and this is my co-host Jake Ripley. This is the first episode of the first podcast that's going to be hosted on the Avotum Network. So the Avotum Network is a passion project of Jake over probably the last 10 years, culminating all of his things that he's done with videography and photography. Now, the vision of this podcast is to highlight the people that are taking advantage of this beautiful playground state. You know, we have so much opportunity here to enjoy the outdoors, and there's so many people that just pass it over. So we really want to take the time to see what makes people get out on the weekends, what makes people be so successful in their careers so they can go enjoy these beautiful outdoor spaces that we have. Now, a few questions that I want to get off right at the bat is the name, Avotum Network. Now, Jake, where did this name come from?
It came from cannabis. A lot of cannabis usage went into that name. I've always had an interest in like creating a word instead of using something. You know, it's brands that are already using words in the English language bore me compared to somebody that's creating their own identity. And Avotum is short for evolutionary freedom. And it's something that I noticed right around when I was 21 and went out to California. There's a certain way of life that a lot of people in, especially the extreme sports space, live, and they are constantly evolving to stay on that path of freedom that they've found. You know, I think anybody that's ridden a bike knows the freedom that comes with, you know, moving like that. Anyone that's ridden a skateboard, anyone that's snowboarded, surfed, it becomes a lifestyle. And if you want to be serious about it, you really need to cater your life to that specific activity. And it's that catering to that activity is what I'm interested in kind of shining a light on. Because it's not easy. It's not easy to surround your life with these things that make that lifestyle worth living, especially if you don't have a full-blown sponsorship ride and all that. So
Absolutely. Now, one of the big questions that I have is, you know, why now? Why are you doing this now and not 5 years ago?
It's a good question. I should have started it a while ago, but the closer I get to actually starting it, I think it's kind of a perfect time to be getting into it. I had somebody a few weeks ago. I've had another project that I had tried getting off the ground. It didn't work out how I was expecting it to. And recently I had somebody tell me, you know, why are you trying to get other people to put out messages that are way more powerful if you put them out, because you don't have as much to lose on these things. And I'm kind of tongue-in-cheek talking about the cannabis industry. There's a lot changing in that industry right now, and a lot of people on the inside don't like how it's going about. There's plenty of good stuff going about, but the state could be doing better rolling this out, and a lot of the caregivers are afraid to speak up against the government, which, you know, it's the whole reason for the First Amendment, and that amendment's under attack right now. So I think that's kind of why right now, if I can be a voice for the people and for business owners to better the state, I see tremendous value in that. And it's something that I'd definitely like to put behind my name when I'm old, you know, to say that I spoke up for people that weren't being spoken up for in the state.
Absolutely. Now, that vision that you had mentioned, do you see that as the focus of this podcast, or on this network, are you trying to create more than one podcast? Like, what are you trying to do with that?
I'd like more than one podcast on the network. I like a wide variety of media. I like serious documentaries. I love comedy. I love adventure stuff. Kind of one of the things that I'm drawing some inspiration from is old school Vice. I really liked it in the heyday when it was, you know, they were doing the Chernobyl wolf documentary and, you know, epically latered and all that stuff, that it's not necessarily mainstream news, but it matters just as much, if not more, than mainstream news.
Awesome. So I think I'd like to jump right into some questions, have the listeners kind of get an idea of, who we are, why we're connected, and kind of what our vision might be for at least this segment of the podcast.
Yep.
So I have a few questions written down. So first one I have for you is, where in Maine is the most underrated place you've ever been?
There's a lot of underrated places in Maine. If you look at a map of Maine, there's these core places that you see, and people tend to not explore just outside of those places. And 9 times out of 10, just outside of those places is where the cool shit is. And there's nobody there. You're not dealing with crowds and all of that. So one of my favorite places, and I kind of make a point to go see it anytime I'm near it, is the Ottawa Trestle up near my parents' camp. Monson, I believe, is the closest town to it. One of the closest towns. Go to Monson, take a right. Is pretty much how you get to the Ottawa Trestle. But it's a really unique bridge. It goes over the canopy of trees, and it overlooks Ottawa Lake. And then beyond that, there's 2 gorgeous mountains. There's Borestone, and I've got no idea what's on the other side because Borestone's really cool, and that's on the left. But I should figure out what that other mountain is.
I've actually never heard of that trestle, that lake, or that mountain.
Right. Well, you don't get out.
Yeah, I know. Never at all.
You go to New Hampshire.
Sometimes. I feel like I've explored a decent amount of this state, but it's funny. There's always so many places that you hear people talking about that.
There is.
Not only have you not been there, I've never even fucking heard of it.
Right.
And I think people itch so much to get out of this state, and nobody's even like, what? Bangor might be the furthest north that most people ever go.
I haven't been to the county.
I've been in parts of the county, maybe driving through, but I've never really spent any time in the county or east of the county either. So like Eastport.
I've been over
that
there.
section.
It's dope up there.
It looks fantastic, but I've never spent any time. And I mean, I've spent countless hours outside.
First question, second answer.
Yeah.
Grand Lake Stream. Or Grand Stream.
Grand Lake Stream?
Grand Lake Stream, right?
So Millinocket?
I think so, yeah. It's ridiculous. It's not far outside of Bangor, like within supply range, and some monster fish up there. It's unique water. There's a ton of water. Yeah, Grand Lake Stream.
Yeah, I gotta look at it.
There's a plantation in Washington County. Population was 109.
Yeah, this is
2010.
I don't think this is where I was thinking at all.
I don't think it was either. It's pretty much in between Eastport and Bangor.
Yeah. I've never been there.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. And it's similar to up where my camp is. It's just a different... One thing that I found really fascinating about that area is that their rock buildup is different, which means that their roads are a different color.
Like the tar roads?
Yeah, because you use tar is local rock crushed in with tar.
Yeah.
And they're more red.
Huh. I'll have to check that. Yeah, I've never...
It's interesting.
I've never even...
I mean, you think about it, you go out west and the roads are different.
Yeah, that is true.
It was one of those things that put into perspective for me how big our state is.
It's, what, 7 hours, 8 hours? 9
I think
hours?
It's a healthy 8 hours.
Yeah, to go from the tip down to...
Yeah, tip to tip.
Tip to tip. That'd be an interesting drive.
You heard it here, folks. Documentary coming next year.
I
always wanted to drive the circumference.
That would be
That's
cool.
like a week trip.
If you're flying. If you're not even spending much time in places, it's a week trip.
Upper west side, there's no road on the edge of it.
No.
You're talking back roads that might have gates, might not exist anymore.
Yeah, Jackman to Quebec, that's really the only main, I don't know the route name, but that's the only main thoroughway that probably goes through that western...
Well, and even all those, they're going up. The one from Kingfield goes up through Eustis and into Canada.
Yeah.
Nothing goes across those.
No, that'd be
even, I mean, I tried going from Bingham back to Kingfield on the back roads.
Yeah.
Or Jackman to Kingfield.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard. There's 2 places to cross the Kennebec.
Yeah.
So you're chasing the Kennebec the whole time, which just it's gorgeous. It was fun, but I did not get to Kingfield.
No.
I have since, but it took
some Google mapping.
Yeah.
So what's your least favorite place in the state?
Gray, Maine.
I like Gray.
I like it more
nice
the
bedroom.
older I get, but it's boring.
Yeah.
There is not a lot here. Like, you have to leave Gray to it. Like, I got spoiled by living in Kingfield.
Yeah.
Like, Kingfield, I could just end my day at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and go kayak until the sun went down.
Yeah.
And it would be a new spot every time, And even if it wasn't a new spot, it's a special spot.
Yeah.
And maybe some of that's me being jaded by growing up in Maine, in Gray, but I don't know.
It's a good place if you have a 40-an-hour work week and you still want to get inside of the mountains or something on the weekend.
Right. You can actually make money here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's difficult in Kingfield or some of these places.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah.
But you don't need as much money either. That's what I really liked.
No, you don't.
I did not chase the dollar while I was up there.
No.
I chased the moment,
Yeah.
And had I been filming all those moments, I probably could have stayed there. But that's the other thing about Maine is you get so wrapped up in the enjoyment of it that you don't do the work to cash in on that,
Yeah, that's fair. So we know your favorite place, your least favorite place. If one of your friends was going to come here for a long weekend, so they got 3 days, they have a car, it's, let's say, springtime. That's a tough season in Maine,
Warm spring.
Warm spring.
Not March, May.
What should they do for a long weekend?
Take your dog for a walk. Mike's got a dog that's squeaky like mine. My suggestions would be any of the roads that bring you from the coast to the mountains. My favorite one is 27 going from Booth Bay up to Kingfield. I think it shows you a great cross section of the state. You start out at the coast, you go through the plains, the farmland, all that, and all of a sudden you're in the mountains,
Yeah, it does kind of give you really all the big ticket items of Maine. Your idyllic postcard coastline, your idyllic postcard mountain.
Right. A couple working towns in between that are not postcardy, but they're what Maine. I'm trying to showcase on this show.
Yeah, for sure.
I think you go through Augusta, so you're seeing the capital.
It's the capital of Maine?
I think so.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Portland, right?
Lewiston is the true capital of Maine.
When I found out the 27 connected Booth Bay and Kingfield, it made me wonder, though, about that road. There's a lot of sugar loafers that are also tied to Booth Bay, and it just makes me wonder about the history of that. Is that by design?
Yeah.
Because a lot in Maine is, and then a lot is like Gray, for example. Little tangent, but something I'd love to go into this on its own podcast. But why did Gray get made? Well, back in the day when they were shipping stuff from Portland to Lewiston, Auburn, Gray was a day's drive with a carriage. So naturally, you put up a hotel, you're going to make money here. You put a bar in, you're going to make money here. So it's kind of the roots of Gray. I probably would have liked it better back then.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. It's actually the same way it is now.
It's true. It's a pass-through town.
Yeah, or like a bedroom community.
Right.
Nobody really works in Gray.
Right.
You work in Auburn or you work in Portland, right. And you can
raise your family in Gray.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It is a great place to raise a family. It's just...
Yeah, there's not much going on.
Yeah. It's easy to get in trouble here.
Yeah.
Because there's no cops.
No.
And there's a lot of land.
So last question I have for you. If someone were to purchase you a 1-week trip right now, you got to leave today. You only have 1 week. Where are you going to go?
I've got answers. There's no right answer to this question.
No right answer.
Are they only buying me one trip?
Depends on your answer.
Oh, are you buying me a trip? This is what this is getting to? You buying me a round trip? No, probably one way with you.
Yeah, it would be one way.
Okay. That's fine. So a one-way trip, I would go to British Columbia. Round trip, I would go to Alaska. How's that for an answer?
That's a good answer.
Yeah. I'd take a one-way trip to British Columbia.
I think anybody would take a one-way trip to British Columbia.
Not Alaska.
I would like to think I would take a one-way trip to Alaska. I consider myself an outdoorsman. I think about a week, I'm going to say, yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Like, this place is hard.
I think the first thing you're going to realize is how little of the appropriate gear you have.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to get there, you'll be like, fuck, these boots don't work.
Yeah. I have the
rod's
gear
not nearly big enough.
No.
This bear mace is not going to do a dent on that grizzly.
No, I think with the gear I can do anywhere for a week, but yeah, I don't even know if I could do there for
What's your answer to that question?
1 week? That's hard because...
I know it's hard.
So if I had more than 1 week, there's a 1,000 places. Like, I really want to travel throughout Asia, like India, Vietnam, Thailand, all those places, but you can't do them in a week.
Right.
You really can't do anything east of, London in a week.
Even that,
even that, it's really difficult. And in the U.S., I've been through so many places. My answer would be very similar to yours, but a little bit more targeted, would be Banff National Park in Alberta.
National Park.
Yeah. Well, is it a national park?
I think so.
I don't know what the Canadians call their national parks.
Your Majesty's Park?
Yeah. The Park of the Mounties. Yeah, I mean, that place is just...
They got a bear problem out there.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're like, we have bears, but they're not scary.
No.
And you never see them.
Right. I've seen one.
Yeah, I've seen one bear, and it wasn't even in Maine, it was in New Hampshire.
Really?
Yeah, and it was driving.
Yep, I was driving too.
Oh.
I got out of the car to shoot it. It was eating blueberries. Shoot it with a camera, folks.
Yeah.
It bolted. It had no interest. Whereas a lot of other animals, I can at least sneak up on them. Like moose, I can figure my way around them.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's the reason you never see bears, or they are so well gone before you're even anywhere close.
Right. Can I ask you a follow-up to that?
Yeah.
And you can ask me it too if you think it's a great question, because it's going to be a great question. Where would you send me for a week?
Oh, fuck.
Huh?
Oh.
I already know mine.
That's a really good question.
I know it is. Like, where would you send your friend? That would be a fun thing to do.
That would be a really fun thing. I don't think it would be a place that you want to go.
Nebraska, fucker.
Yeah. I think that's such a wasted opportunity to, like, I know a lot of places you want to go, Wyoming, Alaska, like you mentioned. So I don't think it would be doing you any justice to say, yeah, you should really, this is where I'm going to send you. Mm-hmm. I know from previous conversations that you're not keen on going a place that you don't speak the language or they don't speak English. I would say, but you don't want to send you to a place that you're just going to be fucking miserable, because that just makes you an asshole. I'm going to say somewhere in South America, but not a place in South America that speaks English really well. I don't know. Maybe like in the Andes or something. Okay. Like a place I know you're going to enjoy, but you're also going to be uncomfortable because you don't speak Spanish. But I think that would,
you can say taco.
Yeah.
Carne asada.
That's all
I like
you got?
that answer.
You only have 2 words that you know?
Dude, those words will get me through the week.
It'll get you fed.
Yeah. What else do I need?
Yeah. So where are you sending me?
Someplace I lived briefly, because it's unique and hard to describe to people, is Santa Cruz.
Never been?
Yeah.
I think
you'd like it.
And that's a good answer.
It's hardy mountains that just end in the water.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And I don't think I would just find myself going there. Not that I wouldn't want to go there.
You have to intend on going there.
Yeah.
Like you have to cross a mountain range to get into it.
Yeah.
You know?
Or you could just fly. Can you fly?
No.
I don't know.
You fly into San Jose and then you
cross.
go over the mountain range.
Okay.
Fun fact, when San Jose was getting built up with the tech boom, they literally took all the homeless people and they were like, hey, you guys want to go on a trip to Santa Cruz? And they put them on a bus, drove them over the mountain, and just left them there. That's how they dealt with their homeless issue in Santa Cruz or San Jose.
I would call that a fact, not a fun fact.
Maybe. I mean, they got a free trip.
Yeah. That's crazy. I never would have known that.
Yep. It's a unique area. You'd like it.
Yeah.
I think what you'd like about it is there's a thriving economy, but there's like all this outdoor space.
Yeah.
Still. Like you're literally like you see how much money Oracle has when you're out there.
So is this like Silicon Valley?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This is like the outskirts of it where like Google sends a bus to get their employees from there to bring them in every day.
Huh.
Like I had a friend that he'd bike to work over the mountain every morning,
Jeez.
which is a gnarly bike ride.
Yeah.
And then he'd take the bus home because who wants to do that twice in a day?
I certainly don't.
You know?
I've seen the show. I don't know anything about it.
The show Silicon Valley?
Yeah, it's great.
I haven't watched it yet. I've heard good things. But
You haven't watched it? That surprises
I don't
me.
have a TV.
It's really funny.
I've heard it's funny.
This is the last season, I think. It's getting really dark, but
Yeah.
it's a good show.
All right, let's go on with the questions.
Yeah, that was all I had.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh, no. I had one other question. One non-essential thing
I was hoping you'd skip that.
that you always bring into the woods. So when you hike, when you camp, when you kayak, even anytime you're outdoors, what's one thing you have to have?
Kayaking, I don't bring anything non-essential because
Yeah.
there's just no extra space. One of the things that's kept me from doing overnight trips in kayaks is where do I put my beer?
You got to switch to bourbon.
I know. And then
It's nice and light.
that's a rough night.
It's a rough morning.
Yeah, true. It's a fun night.
Yeah.
It's probably weed. I mean, my camera's unessential. Non-essential. You know? I'm not making
debatable.
money with that thing yet.
Yeah.
Not doing the stuff, not shooting that stuff. Yeah, I don't bring a lot into the woods. I don't bring the essentials.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So better question. What's one essential thing that you bring into the woods?
A source of fire.
That's an
But
essential.
it's not for the intentions of survival.
That's
I just need to
for your
light my-
non-essential thing.
Yeah.
It has a dual purpose.
That and my Leatherman, really.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck am I going to get into that a lighter and a Leatherman aren't going to get me out of?
I really
Is
wish
the
I could
list
come
on
up with an
page
answer.
2 and you're,
Yeah.
you're like, that.
We'll circle back to that. I think I've come up with something. What do you have for me?
What's your most nostalgic set of skis?
Well, that's a good question. So I had a pair of skis, the first pair of twin tip skis that I had. I think I was like 14, maybe
Sounds about
13.
right.
Yeah. I don't even remember
Yeah,
what.
the year you got me into snowboarding, you stopped snowboarding.
Yeah. So I got them from either Shea Flynn or Joe Gardner. I don't even remember what they were. All I remember is they had. Do you remember BV53?
Mm-hmm.
Like their
Yeah.
ski collaborative. All I remember is because I had like just met them.
That was ahead of its time.
Yeah, it was. And so we did this like show and tell in gym class, and it was to like highlight things that we do outside of school that are active things. So the only thing I remember about these skis is they were painted, I think before my time, but I had taken white out and written like Blind Vertigo and BV53 all over these skis just because I wanted to feel like I was a part of this group of
and then he got beat down by BV53 for
it was a rough
false
time.
blood.
It was a rough time.
You ain't rep that set.
Yeah, those were definitely the most nostalgic skis that I ever had because it was like the first pair of skis that I had really learned how to ski. Well, not how to ski, how to go straight, hit a jump, straight, hit a rail. I don't even know what ended up happening to those
Don't you
skis.
hate that?
Yeah.
Like the stuff that you'd be like, I'd put it in my man cave now.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I don't know, I handed it down to somebody or,
yeah,
threw
it in the trash.
Right.
Because they had 5 sheetrock screws. And
Yep. That was my favorite with you. Like, I worked at ski shops during that time. One of my first jobs was at a ski shop, and I've worked at a few since. And just knowing how seriously the techs take setting up skis, and then my favorite person to film, who was Mike, like we'd go to his house after school, and I'd see him with power tools that his dad did not want him using, like just rough fitting his boot into it and just cranking the din up.
oh, yeah.
Small tangent. Do you remember when you were in junior bindings and we were, what was the park on Barker? The big one.
Oh, rocking chair.
Rocking chair park.
Yep.
I'm sitting, I think I was on the knoll above, shooting you below, or shooting down towards the next jump. And you come barreling down, speed checked a little too hard, and landed on the knuckle. And you were in junior bindings with the din cranked on them.
Which is like maybe 7
Right.
on a pair of junior bindings.
Like you weren't quite into adult bindings,
Yeah.
but junior was not cutting it in the park.
Well, and the only reason I had junior bindings, I don't know if you remember this, is because I went to Martin's in Lewiston.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what they had for super cheap. So I bought those.
Right.
I think I paid $15 for them.
But you were small at that time too, right? You hadn't
Yeah,
quite
I was-
hit your growth spurt.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could tell midair that you were in that oh fuck moment.
Oh, yeah.
And then I packed my stuff up, which takes like 2 or 3 minutes. And I ski down and I see Mike's skis sitting on the top knoll of the jump. Perfect. Like just dead center. And then as I come over the knoll, I just start seeing a line of your shit going down the landing at the jump. And like, if you were in adult bindings, you probably could have braced it and like rode it out, but you hit so hard on that knoll that it just sent you down.
Pieces of binding everywhere.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of my favorite memories of you. Super funny. Yeah, that was a good set of skis. One of my favorites was your the set that had the mushrooms on it.
Yeah, I still have that pair. I actually have still downstairs.
Well, you had them for like 4 years before you used them.
I did. I bought them when you worked at Allberg.
Oh yeah, I did sell those.
You sold me those skis, yeah.
Shout out Allberg, sponsor the podcast.
I never mounted them until we moved to Colorado.
Right.
Yeah, I mounted them out there. I used them for a few seasons.
Good powder ski.
No, they were
Just
like
lean back.
I think 80 underfoot, like these tiny little thin skis that are not good.
They're a good ski though.
Oh, they're a great ski.
Like
they're a good park ski.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites. Also because of the top sheet on it, You could not get on a lift with a family without the dad going,
no.
You fucking park rats.
I know all park skis too had some type of, like I remember I had these pair of, I think they were Rosignol's, and it just looks like a weird design, but if you look at
the body.
Yeah.
Those were the ones that you had the sheetrock screws through.
Yeah.
Or one of the ones.
Yeah, it was like
sheetrock screws through.
Silhouette of a naked woman that you would never notice unless you were really looking for it.
Yep. Yeah, and it was basic other than that. It was just like one color.
Yeah, it was
and
like
the
blue
body.
and white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cool ski. What's your favorite thing to cook while camping?
That's hard because my favorite thing to cook when we camp is to not cook.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, I don't know if that's fair. Dinner, I don't like cooking dinner camping. Like backpacking is just, dehydrated meals. But if we're car camping, like we do a lot of like a shepherd's pie that you can just throw over the fire. It's all pre-cooked. But as far as actually cooking would be breakfast. Like bacon, potatoes, Brittany.
Bacon over sausage?
Bacon
I guess
over sausage.
bacon packs better, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. And Brittany loves muffins, griddled in bacon grease. So.
What?
Oh, no. Do not knock.
What type of muffin? Doesn't matter?
I like blueberry.
Nice.
Yeah.
Blueberry bacon.
Oh, yeah. It's just soaked through with
Do you
bacon
butter
grease.
it too? Or
No, just right in the bacon grease.
Damn.
Yeah. But that way you don't clean up. It soaks all of the bacon grease that you would have had to dump
That's
out.
true.
Yeah.
None for the bears.
That's conservation, really. Or sustainability. I don't know.
That's
It's
positive.
lazy. It's laziness.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. You're doing your part.
Yeah.
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 Okay. I don't like cooking when I'm camping.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's it's difficult to do. You have to bring way more than you should, and it never turns out the way you want it to.
Right. There's a few tried and trues, and it depends on what you got set up.
Yeah.
Like car camping's a whole different game, but
Yeah.
I like a good steak.
Oh yeah,
Steak and potatoes. That's kind of my favorite meal in general.
and that's an easy one.
And Brussels sprouts.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. Never cooked Brussels.
Burgers.
Camping. Burgers are a good one.
Burgers are a good one.
Yeah.
I gotta make you my new burger type. You can change your life.
Oh, this
It
smash
might,
patty
It
thing.
might end up as
Yeah.
your new
All right.
go-to.
I look forward to it.
Maybe we'll do a video because there's not enough of them on YouTube already. Check
No.
out the Burger Show. It's dope. It's where I found it. Have you watched any of that?
The Burger Show?
Yeah.
No.
Elvin Kalin's show.
No.
He's like 300 pounds. Just watch him eat burgers.
I don't watch a lot of cooking shows.
This isn't really cooking. It's
No.
more like the culture of the
Oh, yeah.
food. You know what I mean?
I
Like
do
they
like
do a
those
Texas
shows.
road trip that's wicked cool.
Yeah.
Just checking out the different burgers.
And that's on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Shout out YouTube. Sponsor us. What's a food that changed your life? And to give that a little context, because obviously all food kind of changes your life as a kid when you get into it.
Yeah.
I hadn't really had true taqueria food until I went to California, and it just changed the game. Like, I cannot get enough of cilantro to this day.
Oh.
Carne asada and cilantro are my,
The best.
yeah.
I would say the food that really kind of shaped the way that I like to cook now and the way or what I enjoy eating is Thai food for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It was so wildly different than anything that I had had as a kid. I grew up pasta, home cooked meals, meatloaf, things like that.
Both of Mike's parents are good cooks.
Oh, yeah.
Like, in their own
Yeah, they
realms, it's awesome.
are fantastic. But we never really cooked anything like that. And that really opened my eyes to like Vietnamese food and Indian food, all these textures, flavors, all these things that I never experienced before. And I mean, to this day, I eat some type of Thai or Asian food 3-4 times a day. I mean, there's some sitting on the counter right now.
Right. You didn't cook that.
I did not cook that. No, that was
Thai person cooked that.
Yeah, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah.
One thing that fascinates me about the Asian food is the technique.
Oh, it's crazy.
It's totally different techniques. Like, again, not to get back on the YouTube food thing, but there's this one page, and it's so simple, and the videos suck, but they're so intriguing. It's this guy that goes around to places in Japan and just films how they hibachi. And it's so crazy just seeing how, like, from cook to cook it changes, but, like, regiment stays the same, you know? I find that fascinating. Between that and their wok stuff, like, It's just they
Oh,
cook completely different. In a lot of ways, it's way easier.
It is if you know how to do it.
Right.
I have a wok, and I cannot for the life of me cook well in a wok. No.
Dude, fried rice in a wok.
Yeah. Like I do it, it never feels right.
Right.
And it
especially
never,
when you
like,
watch Asian people do it, because they'll do it in like 5 minutes. They got this thing that takes you 45 minutes because you're like, wait, what do we do next?
Yeah, that's the crazy part.
Yeah. Cool.
Any other questions?
Yeah. I'm just thinking about Thai food now.
Yeah, I know.
You got any extra chicken fingers or
maybe
a little crab rangoon?
I do not like
pork fried rice. Sorry. What's a piece of gear that changed how you go into the woods?
Oh, that's a good question.
I know. I thought it.
Boots.
These boots ain't made for walking. Are they? These boots. Okay.
That's just what
they're gonna walk all over you.
Yeah, I know it's a really simple answer, but it really, really, when you boil it down, it's like the most important piece of gear you can have. Like if you are uncomfortable, it just makes everything terrible. And I never had good boots growing up. Like when I first started hiking with my wife Brittany, who got me into hiking, like I still had skate shoes and had no idea what I was doing. You roll ankles, it's uncomfortable, and it just makes everything suck. So when I finally got a good pair of boots, it was just a completely different experience. It made everything so much easier. And so we were hiking the Bonds in New Hampshire, a perfect example of why you need good boots. And Brittany had some, they weren't even new boots. They were like 10 months old. She had used them a bunch, but for some reason they just weren't fitting right. And she had ended up getting some blisters in her toe and in the back of her
pregnant
heel.
Feet?
No, not at that time. No. And it was like miserable really for both of us because I had given her my boots and then we were kind of switching back and forth. Like I think we both ended up hiking probably 7 or 8 miles barefoot, and it was awful. And the funny thing is, it's not like we're in this remote. I mean, it's remote, but there's hundreds of people around, so it's really not remote. And everybody's walking, and they're great, and they're having a good time, and it's like this just
You're probably in better shape than half of them, but like struggling because of your gear.
Yeah. So that really cemented
I've been there
it.
snowboarding.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, your strap breaks.
Yeah, that's
and all
the
of
worst.
a sudden you're like, you've done 15 runs on the trail already, and then the moment that breaks, you realize how big the mountain is.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, oh, I've got a mile to go or whatever. Maybe not a mile, but
yeah,
and
it's just awful.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would
but
say
it's
that's
similar. It's your connection point.
Oh, for sure.
That's what your boot is.
Yeah, it's very much the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if your shoe string, boot string,
yep,
breaks and then you can't tighten your boots. It's horrible.
Right. I actually had a similar experience to that out in Acadia. Drew gave me shoes. Our buddy Drew. I think it was Drew. It must have been Drew. Because mine, like, fell apart halfway through the hike. They were, like, knockoff Nikes.
Yeah.
Like, bootleg Nikes. And it sucked. Because you're just... The momentum of the activity is going faster than your, like, boots will.
Absolutely.
Or shoes in that case will let you. It sucks.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. I like boots. What are you rocking for boots?
I got a pair of Danners that are, man, they got to be 6-7 years old now. I haven't had to resole them. I haven't had to do anything to them. And I've put, I got to have over 2,000 miles on those boots. Yep. And they just are bulletproof.
Is that what you did Kilimanjaro in?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I did every, big backpacking trip, Kilimanjaro, everything.
We'll do an episode on Kilimanjaro. Just, we're not brushing over that. We can't get into it right now. And
yeah, it's a long story.
Yeah. I had asked a few people about stuff to ask you in a couple different people were like Kilimanjaro. So we'll have Mike just break down his Kilimanjaro trip. I haven't even heard it like chronologically told. And again, that's part of what I'm kind of excited about with this show is to break it down. I learned stuff about you already through us doing practice runs of this that I had never known, and I've spent half my life friends with Mike.
Yeah.
So.
No, I think that would be a good episode. Get Brittany on here and walk through
she won't come on until she can drink. She's pregnant, so.
I mean, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, it does make being
true.
around you easier. So.
Whoa. Whoa. The roast of Jake Ripley has started.
I know, after you said so many nice things about me, too.
I know, dude.
Yeah.
I'd take all of them back.
Yeah, I blame it on the drinking.
You know what? I don't like your screws through your skis anymore. You're a danger on the mountain, and you're putting my life at risk by being such an ignorant skier. They should take your pass. Tell them about... Tell the camera about getting your pass clipped.
So, yeah, I got my pass clip just once. With all the dumb stuff we did, only once. And it wasn't even... I'm not going to say it wasn't my fault. It was definitely my fault. But I ducked a rope to catch up.
It wasn't my fault, so I ducked a rope.
I ducked a rope to catch up to get on the lift. And I only can see out of one eye because I got shot in the eye with a paintball gun when I was a kid.
We'll do another episode on that.
And I clipped this old lady, and she fell. And I never even saw it.
Clipped
I couldn't.
How?
Like, when I ducked the rope, I don't know if my ski clipped her.
She was on the trail.
She was in the lift line. So I ducked the rope to get onto the lift. And
I thought this was like skiing. She fell over in the lift line?
She fell over in the lift line because, I kind of bombed through, ducked the rope, clipped her, didn't even know. So I get off the lift at the top, and I see this guy that's just like
pissed.
Yeah, beelining it for me and just starts yelling at me. And I had no idea what was going on because I didn't really know. And then he got ski patrol over.
I thought he was.
Oh no, he was. Yeah, it was like his.
It
was his grandmother. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I got it clipped. Luckily, it was when I don't know if all ski resorts do this, but Sunday River would clip corners of your pass.
Right. You got a few chances.
Yeah, once you had it all clipped, you got your pass taken away. So luckily that didn't happen. But I felt awful because I really didn't. I did.
I don't remember you feeling awful. I think you might feel awful about it now.
Yeah.
At the time.
Yeah, probably.
I think I heard old bitch. No, he didn't say old bitch.
That's true.
That's a good story. That's a nice little sliver of our past. Well, sorry, didn't see you there. It was just charging.
Yeah. Yeah, there were many times I almost hit people skiing.
We get a lot of almost stories. Almost getting arrested at Cole Farms.
Yeah.
I got blamed for so much shit that I did not do at Cole Farms. Like the guy with the camera. Why is the guy with the camera getting blamed? I didn't do anything.
If I remember that correctly, it was because you were the one yelling at him. But
I did interact with him directly.
Yes. Yeah, and then he knew my parents.
Fuse. I've seen him since.
Yeah.
I told him. Oh.
Did he remember?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, he went from friendly to fuck you real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I think he got it. It was childhood shenanigans.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, I remember you talking to him about, we'll just sign a waiver.
Because we got away with that at that C-Rail.
In Lewiston?
In Lewiston, yeah. I was like, well, I used to be so good at that.
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
Yeah.
You know? I don't know what happened to that in me.
Well, and it's funny looking back now because it's like we thought that was the answer. It was as simple as just liability. Not thinking like we're sliding on their rails, destroying their property.
Right.
It was just, no, it's just a liability.
I'm trying to create promotional material for your business, sir.
Right.
Your sign's prominently displayed in the background.
Yeah, because a bunch of 16-year-old kids that eat the free crackers at Sunday River are going to come to your business to spend money.
I still remember Darren Brown taking condiments, and we used to huck them at people riding down.
I never did that, but I remember.
Nailed a ski patroller, and then I turned to him and I got a barbecue sauce package and just point blank huck it right at his goggles.
Yeah, I did a lot.
We were horrible. A lot of stories that we can't tell on this, but
Yeah.
some that we will eventually tell.
Yeah.
So, again, I'm excited to do that. I love nostalgia with the whole skiing thing. It's part of why I still enjoy going to Sunday River and Sugarloaf, is the memories of it. I still
absolutely.
remember the first time going up Sunday River's access road, because I was a late bloomer in snowboarding. I started at Lost Valley, and then we're going up the access road at Sunday River, and I'm looking up like, that's a fucking mountain, you know? Like, they're small mountains, but they look so big when you're 13 and you haven't ridden down anything like that, and you're with a bunch of friends that do it every weekend with their parents.
Yeah, when you're.
I remember Allie Olmstead.
Lost Valley.
Allie Olmstead. I remember looking at her, and she's just like having a good time, and I'm sitting there shitting bricks. Like, I gotta go down that, and then they always bring you down Lollapalooza.
That's the best trail.
What?
Love that trail.
Why? Because Brittany can do it?
No, Brittany loves that trail too.
I know.
Lollapalooza?
It sucks.
I think you're wrong.
You don't do anything on it. You're like, I hope I get enough speed at the beginning of this.
Okay.
Oh, no, not Lollapalooza. Kansas.
Oh, yeah, that trail.
I love Lollapalooza. Sorry, Lollapalooza. I love you.
Yeah.
One of my favorites, too.
No, Kansas is terrible.
Sucks.
Yeah. That's a terrible trail. Especially
it
if
does
you're a
cut off a
snowboarder.
lot of time, though.
Yeah.
Like, you're riding 3 or 4 lifts if you don't take Kansas.
Yeah. And if you're a snowboarder, it's just fucking horrible.
Grab my pole. No.
Yeah.
Like, then it slows you down.
Yeah.
Like, sucks. Anyways, enough about that.
Any more questions that you have for me?
We'll do a best and worst ski trails in Maine episode.
Ooh, that's good.
All about the ideas right now. What's the best shower beer?
Oh, Rec League for sure.
I disagree, but I like the beer.
Yeah, it's it's low ABV. It actually tastes good, and it's cheap, which I think are
cheap. I like the 15-pack.
Yeah, those are the 3 main components in a shower beer, in my opinion.
So you do the whole 15-pack in the shower?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Is that not what you do?
No, I was confirming.
Oh, okay.
Making sure that you're doing it right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's how I get ready for work. Take a shower and pound 15
It's
beers.
just a recreational beer.
Yeah. It's in the name.
They are a good beer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
Fresh cut. I'm a Pilsner in the shower guy.
That is another delicious beer.
Mm-hmm. It's a well-done Pilsner. It's not trying to be anything special.
No.
It's just a good Pilsner.
And dry hopped. It's good.
Yeah, it's refreshing. It gives you for whatever reason, that beer gives me a more energetic drunk or buzz. It doesn't dull me out. I like it as my first beer. If I'm going to be drinking that night, I like it for number 1.
I do actually drink that a lot as my first beer.
We might have Tyler Drum on, who has not had that. And my initial thought was have him come on and we'll have a bunch of nice beer that he pays for and he brings.
We should give him a bunch of shitty beer.
That's what I'm kind of thinking.
Yeah, because he does not drink shitty beer.
Yeah, we'll do a pounder taste test.
Yeah.
Not a pounder. What's the 24-ounce ones? We'll do a 24-ounce taste test. Because there's only shit beer that's available in 24 ounces.
Milwaukee's Best.
That was my go-to.
Yeah.
Natty Daddies.
Natty Daddies.
The Milwaukee Ice was my favorite. You could get 2 of those. I used to get 2 of those and go over to Dane Varney's house, smoke a bunch of weed, play video games, and it was a great time for like $3.
That was
I don't know if I could drink one now.
No, and like my first beer was the same. Like when I was first living with Brittany over in Red Bank in Portland, I used to drink Schlitz Bull Ice 40s because they were, I think, $1.75.
I didn't like the 40s.
Oh no, they were terrible. But $1.75, so 2 of them, $3.50. It's malt liquor, so it's 10%. So it was like, I don't know if the math's right, but I'm pretty sure it was the equivalent of 12 beers.
That's 21-year-old math right there.
Yeah, for $3.50.
How little can I spend for the most alcohol content?
And I didn't even like beer at the time.
No.
It was, well,
But I will say those are easier to chug.
well, yeah.
Like, you can't chug good beer like you can chug shitty light beer.
No, you can't.
Like, if getting drunk is the name of the game.
Yeah, double IPAs. Or, I had it wrong,
I don't like
but it
double
didn't
IPAs.
work. No?
No,
They're overdone.
they are. Did I ask what makes you so passionate about food?
No, you
I
didn't.
don't think I did.
I really think it's the tie back to, like, both my mom and my dad are really, really good cooks. And that was a big focus. Like, Sunday dinners were always huge. Just food in general. Like, it was
Waffle breakfast.
waffle breakfast, yeah.
Strawberries and whipped cream.
It was always a social thing. Like, we always had family over for dinner. So I think the tie between, it's not just a meal, it's time that you get to spend with, with family and friends and have a good time is the reason that I still have that connection with food, whether I always, don't always know it, but.
So it's the sharing of the food.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, I would much.
That's true. I'll put way more effort into a meal for someone than my own meal. My own meal, I'm like, I don't know, microwave the steak.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
I don't microwave steak. That was a joke.
Yeah, I definitely don't care as much. And I also get super nervous cooking for people. Because it is like just.
Do you get offended if they don't like it and you did it right?
No, I don't.
do.
I don't. I
hate it. It's too hot. Like, it's not hot.
Well, yeah, if it's something like that, then I don't care.
Yeah.
And actually, you know what? I would say I really like if it's something I know tastes good and I did really well. I don't care.
You don't?
No, but
do you judge the person more though?
Probably.
Yeah, I do.
But
nothing pisses me off like people that don't like the food that you did.
Well,
right?
Yeah. Yeah, if I try something new and I don't know if that's when
I'm my own worst critic too.
Yeah.
Like I'll tear my meal apart as I'm eating it. And then end the meal and be like, it was pretty good.
Yeah. I know, I do that a lot too. Like we do a Friendsgiving with
I've never been to one.
Well, it's funny. Because it's normally...
It's not funny. It hurts.
No, it's always with Brittany's brother's friends.
That doesn't sound like... Oh.
It's his Friendsgiving.
Oh, so it's Josh's Friendsgiving.
It's Josh's Friendsgiving.
That they've realized that you're the good cook.
Yeah, that make me cook.
And Josh can just get drunk.
Yeah. And I don't even remember where I was going with that.
Something about them not liking it? Or knowing it's a good meal?
Oh, no. I just get super nervous the whole time that I cook. Mm-hmm. Like, even if I know it's going to be good, like, and even if it is good, like, the whole time I'm just like, yeah, that sucked. That was terrible. Like, even if people are like, no, it was really good. Like, unless I know I did really well, I always just think people are being nice.
Right. I've never had bad food from you. You have unique flavor, too. Like, I hadn't had real good stuffings until I had your stuffings. Yeah. And you'll make stuffing for a meal.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
same thing with you, though. Like, I remember when you were living in Kingfield, what did you cook me? And it was something I wouldn't...
It sucked.
Yeah, it did. Something I wouldn't normally like because it was cheesy.
Oh, yeah. No, that wasn't Kingfield. That was when I had the Grow and Strong.
Yes.
Yeah, it was chicken Florentine.
Yep.
Yeah, I forgot that Mike didn't like cheese, and it's like half a friggin' thing of Parmesan cheese.
Yeah, but it was good.
But the wine sauce is what makes it.
Oh, yeah.
That white wine sauce. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to make that again.
That was good.
I got my mouth watering right now. That's a good one. I'm out of questions.
Yeah, me too.
I'd love to hear from our few listeners off the bat. There's an email set up, avotumnetwork@gmail.com. Any suggested topics, questions you have, stuff you want us to go over. If you want to be a guest, shoot us a message. I want this to be as open of a platform as it can be to showcase all the cool things going around Maine. I've got a decent connection with the weed industry, and we'll probably highlight some of that on this, but I'm thinking that'll probably get its own space because I want to stir the pot a little bit. You know,
No pun.
we're going to
intended.
get... Oh, I didn't even think about the pun. It's interesting watching everything roll out and what people are complaining about and what people aren't complaining about, because sometimes it's completely skewed. So shoot me some info on that, what you'd like to see out of that show, what other shows you'd like to see. 2020, that's my focus, is media, and doing media that me and the people that I'm working on it with own. The intention of Votum is to be a employee-owned company, and anybody that's going to help me get that dream off the ground is going to get a chunk of the company. You know, I have no interest in being 100% owner. I'd rather delegate some of that, make Mike do the fucking paperwork for this company so I can do the creative shit.
I like paperwork.
I know you do. It's creepy. It's like the sign of a mass murderer.
That's probably
I like
true.
spreadsheets and axe murdering.
I do love
Boots.
spreadsheets.
I really like boots. He does. He
Spreadsheets
likes
and boots.
spreadsheets.
Spreadsheets
and
about boots? Yeah.
Maybe that's the name of the podcast.
Yeah.
Spreadsheets and boots. Nah, I like living Vacationland. I think
Yeah,
we're
no, I
sticking
like
with that. It's cheesy in all the right ways,
Absolutely.
you know, and it kind of pokes fun at Maine's like shit tourism marketing, which I find hilarious.
Welcome home.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take a lot of these like cheesy t-shirts that you see from Maine, and my buddy Dom owns Arm Factory, an awesome screen printing place in Portland. He's been a huge supporter of me through some of my better times and easily some of my darker times. I want to promote him, and we'll probably get some stuff made. I dropped off a bunch of pictures with Mike today. He's going to make up some frames for him, and we'll be giving some of those away. So check out some merch coming on the way, and we'd love to hear from you. votumnetwork@gmail.com. Let us know what you think. See you guys.